Hello students, this is Kanupriya, PGT Geography, and this is my next video on the chapter 3rd of Fundamentals of Physical Geography, which is Interior of the Earth. This is my second video on this chapter. In my previous video, we have discussed some of the topics of this chapter, which included exogenic forces and endogenic forces. Then we have discussed sources of information about the interior of the earth. There are two main sources, which are direct sources and indirect sources. Then we have discussed the very important topic of this chapter, which is earthquake. Related to earthquake, we have discussed why does the earth shake. Then we have discussed the earthquake waves. Earthquake waves are basically of two types. First one is body waves and second one is surface waves. Body waves we have discussed in my previous video, and today we will discuss about surface waves. But before going to surface waves, let's start with the definition of body waves. Body waves are generated due to the release of energy at the focus and move in all the directions traveling through the body of the earth. So these are body waves, and now we will discuss about surface waves and the topics related to this chapter. So let's start. What are surface waves? The body waves interact with the surface rocks and generate new set of waves called as surface waves. That means the body waves which are generated near the focus and which moves in all the directions, it comes in contact with the surface rocks and generate new set of waves which are called as surface waves. The surface waves are the last to report on the seismograph. Since it is closest to the surface of the earth, so these waves are the last to be reported on the seismograph. These waves are more destructive. Since it is closest to the earth's surface, so these waves are more destructive as it causes more destruction to life and property. They cause displacement of rocks and hence the collapse of structure occurs. Since it is closest to the surface of the earth, so it causes the displacement of the rocks and the structures which are over these rocks collapses. Now, both body waves and surface waves. The velocity of the waves changes as they travel through the materials with different densities. As we all know, there is uneven distribution of the mass of the material inside the earth's surface. So the velocity of the waves depends upon the density of the material. The denser the material, the higher will be the velocity of the waves. Moreover, their direction also changes as they reflect or refract when coming across materials with different densities. Reflection causes the waves to rebound back, whereas refraction makes the waves to move in different directions. So these are the characteristics of both the waves, that is body waves and surface waves. Now the next topic is emergence of shadow zone. Earthquake waves get recorded in seismograph located at far off locations. However, there exist some specific areas where the waves are not reported. Such a zone is called as the shadow zone. That means shadow zone is that area where no waves are reported. Either it is S wave or it is P wave. Neither of the S waves nor the P waves are reported in this particular zone. So this zone is called as the shadow zone. The study of different events reveals that for each earthquake. This is figure A, which is showing S wave shadow zone. When seismograph is placed at 105 degrees, here you can see S waves are clearly visible at 105 degrees. But beyond 105 degree, you are seeing a shaded portion which is called as the S-wave shadow zone, where S-waves are not visible. That means where S-waves are not reported. So that area will be called as the shadow zone for S-wave. This is figure B, which is showing P-wave shadow zone. Here you can see at 105 degrees P-waves are visible. Moreover, at 145 degrees P-waves are reported. Yet the shaded portion is representing that area where P-waves are not reported, where P-waves are not visible. However, if we compare S-wave shadow zone with P-wave shadow zone, we will find that the shadow zone of S-waves is much larger as compared to the P-wave shadow zone. This is the summary of this topic. Figure A and figure B shows the shadow zone of P-waves and S-waves. It was observed that seismographs located at any distance within 105 degrees from the epicenter recorded the arrival of both P-waves and S-waves. However, the seismographs located beyond 145 degrees from epicenter record the arrival of P-waves but not that of S-waves. Thus, a zone between 105 degrees and 145 degrees from epicenter was identified as the shadow zone for both the types of waves. The entire zone beyond 105 degrees does not receive S-waves. The shadow zone of S-wave is much larger than that of P-waves. So this is the topic related to shadow zone. So the next topic is types of earthquakes. We have various types of earthquakes. So let's start with it. First one is tectonic earthquakes. Tectonic earthquakes are generated due to the sliding of rocks along a fault line. Second one is volcanic earthquakes. Wherever there are volcanoes, it gives origin to earthquakes, and those earthquakes are called as volcanic earthquakes. And third one is collapse earthquakes. In the areas of intense mining activity, sometimes the roofs of the underground mines collapse, causing minor tremors. These are called as collapse earthquakes. Collapse earthquakes are related to mining activity, underground mining activity, because of which the roofs of the underground mines sometimes collapses, which causes minor tremors and which gives origin to a certain type of earthquakes known as collapse earthquakes. Fourth one is explosion earthquakes. Ground shaking may also occur due to the explosion of chemical or nuclear devices. Whenever we do nuclear reactions, sometimes it happens because of nuclear reaction, earthquake originates. Those earthquakes are called as explosion earthquakes. And last is reservoir induced earthquakes. The earthquakes that occur in the areas of large reservoirs are called as reservoir induced earthquakes. So these are the types of earthquakes which included tectonic earthquake, volcanic earthquake, explosion earthquake, reservoir induced earthquake and collapse earthquakes. Next is measuring earthquakes. How can we measure earthquakes? The earthquake events are scaled either according to the magnitude or intensity of the shock. The magnitude scale is known as the Richter scale. It is related to the energy released during the earthquake. The magnitude is expressed in absolute numbers starting from 0 up to 10. The intensity scale is named after Mercalli, an Italian seismologist. The intensity scale takes into account the visible damage caused by the event. The range of intensity scale is from 1 up to 12, which means the magnitude is related to the energy released during the earthquake and intensity is related to the visible damage caused by the event. Here you can see the effects of earthquake. There are devastating effects of earthquake, which includes ground shaking, land and mudslides, avalanche, ground displacement, floods from dam, falling objects, tsunami, etc. Earthquake has a devastating effect on life as well as property on the earth's surface. These are some of the effects of earthquake which I have shown in this video. Here you can see some of the pictures which are showing you the effects of earthquakes. In the first picture, you can see ground displacement. In the second picture, you can see tsunami. In the third picture, you can see floods from the dams. These pictures I have shown you so that you can understand about the intensity of the earthquakes. Now, a note. The effect of tsunami would occur only if the epicenter of the tremor is below oceanic waters and the magnitude is sufficiently high. Though the actual quake or earthquake activity lasts for a few seconds, but its effects are devastating, provided the magnitude of the earthquake is more than 5 on the Richter scale. Now, the frequency of earthquake occurrences. As we all know, earthquake is a natural hazard. If a tremor of high magnitude takes place, it can cause heavy damage to life as well as property of people. However, not all the parts of the globe necessarily experience major shocks. Note that the earthquakes of high magnitude, that is 8 plus, are quite rare. They occur once in 1 to 2 years, whereas those of tiny types or tiny tremors can occur almost every minute. This is all for today. I hope the topics are clear to you. If you have any doubts, please come up with your doubts. Thank you so much.